Hello everyone. Happy, not Wednesday, Thursday. Happy Thursday. Coming at you today for my last Instagram live of MS Awareness Month. Well, at least for now. Obviously, MS Awareness Month is going to come to a close shortly, but possibly my lives might stick around because this is kind of fun, which is ridiculous for me to say because public speaking and I are not friends. In high school, I used to black out, literally, when I had to do public speaking. So my high school public speaking hating self would be thinking that I'm insane right now. But anyways, so today we are here to talk about the 5 habits that I think are most important to help manage MS symptoms. Hello. Right to you, Sonia. So whenever you pop in, please just say hello. Let me know where you are watching from, where in the world you're watching from, because it's really fun to hear whether it's in the United States or in the world where you are from. So yeah, and we have a cat right behind. So she's been threatening to come down and sit on my lap. So hopefully that happens, but I doubt it. She doesn't like my big talking voice. She usually runs away, but still here for now. So we'll see if she sticks around. I'm gonna move my water just in case so she doesn't spill it all over me and my computer. So anyways, we're here to talk about 5 habits that I think are some of the most helpful things to help manage MS symptoms. And if you do not know me, if this is your first time seeing me, I am Alyssa. I am the owner-operator person behind Alyssa MS. I started out as a blogger, kind of chronicling my MS patient journey, which pretty much morphed into me helping people on the side. I was already a licensed therapist, so I was helping people anyways. And then a company, my business was just born out of all of that. So today I am a still licensed mental health counselor, and I certainly see people individually to work on mental health things, but then also lifestyle changes to help their MS symptoms. I am a certified personal trainer. I am an AIP certified coach, if you know what AIP or the autoimmune protocol is. I am well versed in that since that was my first foray into lifestyle medicine. Oh, cats are on the move. Okay. So here today, again, to talk about what I think are the 5 habits that help MS symptoms the most. Obviously, there is so much that we could be talking about here and what we could be covering. But we're going to start with some of these basics. You're probably not going to be surprised when I say this first one. Food. Food. So what you are eating during the day, during the week, all those things really matter. So again, you're not shocked that we're going to start here because this was my first instance, my first experience. Hello, let me wave to you. About lifestyle medicine, taking my own body into my own hands, my own healing, my own kind of fixing of my body to help MS symptoms. This was my first experience with that, and it was drastic and powerful. And so let me start by just prefacing and saying that there is no one diet that is an MS diet. There's certainly plenty out there that talk about it. The Swank diet was, I think, maybe the first one. Overcoming MS diet came in right after. Wahls protocol. There are diets designed to help MS symptoms, but unfortunately, there is not one that is better than others. I could go on ad nauseum about these and comparing and contrasting, but no one singular diet that will help MS. There are many different types of foods that can be beneficial depending on your tolerance to them. That's usually my main difference here. And really, these will just make up most of what you eat, and most being the operative word here. Not all, not every, not everything needs to be perfect energy. Most. Some, and sometimes most might not even be possible because of life factors, moving, job stuff, whatever. Life is gonna life, right? And it's gonna give you some curveballs. So please just don't take this as an opportunity to be mean to yourself or anything like that. So it can be simple also. It does not, hello, Ivana. It does not have to be overwhelming. It doesn't have to be crazy. It doesn't have to be these really intricate recipes and 30 minutes of chopping and all these kind of things. Cause those easy recipes usually involve a lot of prep, So all we have to do really is just focus on those whole nutrient dense foods, leafy greens, fatty fish, nuts, seeds, animal proteins. And then the reduction Jennifer, hello. And the reduction of the processed foods, like sugar, dairy, alcohol, and especially those foods that trigger inflammation. And there's much different ways to figure this out. AIP is one of those. It's an elimination diet designed to help you figure out like your own unique diet, like whatever works best for you. So obviously we can be eating things that are helpful and healthy, but we may not tolerate them. I'm sure if you've been around for a little bit, you know my story of me and tomatoes, how I used to eat them all the time. They are healthy in and of itself, looking at a tomato. Jennifer, hello. But for me, they are not so healthy. They are not that helpful for me. They destroy my gut. They increase my symptoms, and they just are not that great. Obviously, I love them, and they are healthy, but for me, they're not so good. So obviously, this is all in the context of you and your body. I'm a little sick, so bear with me. I didn't realize I sounded so sick until I started talking. Okay. And so this does not have to be and should not be a 180-degree switch overnight. Some people can do that. Some people can like throw out all of the processed foods, sugars, all those kind of things, and like just inundate themselves with vegetables and all those good things. But most people cannot. And you might be able to for a week or so, but then it kind of all goes out the window at times, So please do not make this a giant 180 switch. It doesn't have to be. Just make it easy for yourself. Like, don't put so much pressure on yourself. Like I said again, like a little bit ago, you don't have to make those crazy recipes or like kind of crazy in-depth foods. All you really even need is just a protein, so like fish, chicken, beef, whatever, a veggie side. Maybe that's a salad, some roasted vegetables, grilled vegetables, like a starchy side. So that's going to be rice, grained, potato, whatever you tolerate. Again, coming back to that tolerating, and voila, you have dinner, and, so I actually have a Eating for MS guide that's totally free. It has a lot of these kind of foods to add in it, and it has a meal matrix in it too, which is a fun little sheet that gives you like protein ideas, vegetable ideas, so you can mix and match throughout your week. And I actually just got an email from someone, I think yesterday or the day before, saying how awesome that is and how helpful that is for easy meal planning. So if you want that, you can just DM me food and I'll send it to you. It's totally free. Yeah. And so the next one, so that was food on the first habit. And the next one to include in your week is movement/exercise. So I usually talk about movement and exercise. Like they're very similar, obviously very different, can be different, but I like the word movement because that's so much more inclusive. Okay. Hopefully I can keep talking. It's more inclusive because exercise has a connotation, right? Has a stereotype, has like certain clothes you have to wear for it, But movement is just so much more inclusive and so much more allowing just for us to be just moving throughout the day. Because our bodies are designed to move. Our bodies are supposed to move. We are the healthiest when we are moving. However, obviously modern life does not make that easy. MS does not make that easy. Autoimmune disease, other chronic illness symptoms, that does not make that easy. Like between desk jobs and driving around everywhere and getting your kids here and there and then having MS symptoms or autoimmune, what the heck was that word? Autoimmune disease. That was autoimmune disease together, autoimmune. Makes it hard. Oh my God, my brain. And so some types of movement and exercise are actually better than others for those of us with MS, autoimmune disease, autoimmunities. Say that from now on. And some ideas here are joint mobility routines, which actually you're probably not thinking about. But joint mobility and the ability to move our joints through our full range of motion is actually really beneficial for our brain too, because our brain, I'm sure you've heard me talk about this at times, especially if you are a client, our brain has maps and an idea of where our body is in space. And for various reasons, Julia, hello. For various reasons, whether injury, scar tissue, symptoms, actual damage, like if you have rheumatoid arthritis and there's joint damage, those maps, like that mental picture that your brain has of your body can get a little fuzzy. And so that is going to increase your brain's threat which is just your brain is always searching for safety, cues of safety and danger in your environment. So when our bodies and our joints can't really function, like fully move that well, that is going to be like a danger signal to our brain to be like, hey, we don't really trust your body to move, so we want you to stop, which usually means that your brain is going to increase pain in some way, because that's a pretty strong signal to make you stop, right? So having joint mobility routines in your day can actually really, really improve your brain's functioning, but then also kind of reduce pain at the same time. Yoga, any kind of stretching routine is going to be helpful, especially with spasticity in the question. That's not the full fix or full treatment for spasticity, but it's certainly in the conversation. Tai Chi, kind of those slow, fluid movements that can be really helpful to our nervous system and our stress response, but then also strength training too. So that's going to be really helpful for obviously increasing our strength, but that's going to help kind of like keep our body together, you know, because like when I take longer breaks from strength training, either because of life or just I'm sick, I can start to feel that within like a week or two. I'm like, oh, things are starting to ache more. Like I don't feel like I'm fully functioning. Like my body's not quite together, you know. So strength training can be really helpful for that. Oh, talking is rough today. So these movements and exercises, like I was talking about, help our bodies by reducing tension, help our brain know where our body is in space. Again, those brain maps, increasing muscle strength, managing stress. There's so many benefits for exercise. And all of these can help to reduce MS symptoms, pain, all those kind of things. So again, I've taken a bunch of different trainings, and I, in terms of lymph stuff, brain stuff, all these different kind of things. And I've taken little pieces of those and put them together into one exercise, like kind of one routine that takes under 3 minutes. I call it Slap It to Map It. It's the first pinned video on my profile. So if you want to try that out, again, like I said, it takes under 3 minutes, so it's super easy to do. Ideally, you're doing it in the morning because it kind of does wake you up a little bit, kind of clears the fog for me. I should have done that right before this video again. And so if you want that video, you can go to the first pinned video on my profile, or you can just DM me Move and I will send it to you. But it's a great thing to do also. More water. Okay, so we've gone through food and movement as the 2 habits, and now the 3rd habit is breathing. So this one might be a little surprising because you're like, Alyssa, like we're all alive here, so like we're clearly breathing, like what's the problem? But my guess is you're probably not breathing in the most optimal way. And so what I mean by that is you're probably breathing up here, really shallow breathing, fast breathing, kind of hyperventilating. I don't know why I emphasize it that way, without really realizing it. And it's really easy to do because obviously breathing is an autonomic process, meaning it's automatic in our bodies. We do not have to be consciously thinking about it to have it happen. You know, like you can be going on doing your work, doing whatever, and you're obviously breathing, right? So it doesn't really take focused, conscious effort. So that means that when you are not thinking about it, you are falling back into the patterns or the way that you have always been breathing, which is probably shallow because life is stressful inherently, you know, and we don't really focus on it all that much. And like obviously growing up, we're not like taught how to breathe differently. Trauma can really impact our breathing, how we're breathing, all those kind of things. So there's a bunch of different reasons why it can be like problematic or not like the most optimal, but here's a great way out of it. So the shallow breathing, over breathing, or hyperventilating breathing does lead to more oxygen in our systems, which you think would be great, right? Like the more oxygen, the better. However, that hyperventilating breathing, that shallow breathing, that fast breathing also leads to lower carbon dioxide in your body. And you're like, well, wait a minute, that's a waste product. So like, isn't that good? No, stick with me here. So I'm going to summarize some very complex systems at the moment, but we need carbon dioxide also in our bodies to help utilize that oxygen in our bodies. So again, to overly simplify some really complex things, in our cells, we have oxygen and carbon dioxide. to be able to get that oxygen to a utilizing or place where we can utilize it, we need the carbon dioxide to come into the cell and kick the oxygen out of the cell so it can go into our bodies and be used. So we need proper levels of carbon dioxide in our bodies to be able to do that, right? So if you have ever had a blood test, and this is a really quick way to see this, I think it's in the, CMP, the comprehensive metabolic profile, I think, you will have carbon dioxide. And if your carbon dioxide level is low, this is probably an issue for you. So the best way to change this in the moment is to have a normal breath, normal inhale, but to make your exhale longer than the inhale. So kind of like breathe. You can try it out with me right now, and then and probably at the end of that exhale, you're going to be feeling like, oh, I want to take a breath. I want to take a breath. Try to push it a little bit longer and then take a breath and see how different that feels. I'm sure there will be a little bit of a difference here for you. And then if you can get to that place where the longer exhale is a little more comfortable, try to hold your breath at the end of that exhale for a second or two until you really start getting that feeling of like, I need to breathe. That's called air hunger. So air hunger drills, or kind of doing this exact practice, is a way to, one, increase the carbon dioxide in your body, but then, again, like I was talking about, it's going to help increase the oxygen that is able to be used by your body. So I would imagine that when you take that inhale again after that long exhale, that holding your breath after the exhale, you will notice a significant difference in how that exhale or that inhale feels. I certainly notice a difference. I just feel like I'm getting way more of the oxygen. I feel like, whoo, I'm a little more awake. Ooh, ow, a little more alive. I smacked the door. So just try that out and like see how that feels for you and see if you can notice a difference. Okay, we got food and we got movement and we got breathing. So now we are on to the fourth habit, which is tracking and review. So this one's a combo because they really do go hand in hand. But I like to suggest to my clients, I do this, I've done this actually for 10 years, which I figured out today when I was writing this, which is kind of wild. But symptom tracking, life tracking, kind of goal tracking, and then the process of review, which is what we usually forget. So like I said, I just figured out that I've been tracking my symptoms. Probably longer than that. I think I started really when MS kind of hit the fan. So that was probably 2013-ish. I wrote down a lot of the bad stuff, not as much as the good stuff, but I've been pretty consistently tracking symptoms since then. And I've made a system that's really easy for me that takes just a few minutes each morning. So I'm going to share my system. You can try this out. And then if you need to change things, obviously please do so and make this work for you. But I have made general categories of my symptoms because they usually fall under like these 4 or 5 general categories, and then I've added a few extra that of things that really affect me. So like let's see if I can remember this. I go through how tired I feel and how awake I feel, because those are 2 different things to me. How I slept, what my stress level is like, and then if I have any pain anywhere, because that's a really big symptom category for me. If I have a headache or migraine, because that's unfortunately part of life for me. I don't know if it's necessarily an MS thing, as I've had migraines since I was a teenager, but possible. It may probably not helping anything. And then if I have any like sickness, like nausea feelings or any cold feelings like this, but then sensory symptoms is a really big category for me too. And then skin stuff, which is more of a recent-ish in the past like 5 years development, but that's also in there too. So I really just give a 0 to 10 scale. You know, like 0 being fine, not a problem for me today. 10 being like, oh my God, I need help. I need to call somebody, like something needs to change. But this gives a quick snapshot of just where I am, how I am doing day to day, where I can look back and be like, okay, well, this symptom has lasted this long, because I found, I'm sure I'm not alone here, that my memory is not that reliable. So I can think of like, oh, I've only had this for like a week or 2, but in reality, it's been a couple months, you know? So it just gives a quick snapshot of like how I'm doing. I can review it before doctor's appointments to have like that reality check moment of like, okay, I've only been dealing with this for a week, but no, really a month, you know? And then like if there's anything to talk about with the doctor, it's usually found in here too. And then obviously if something happens during the day that I'm away from my journal or something, I can go back and write that down at night, or the next morning I can kind of fill in what needs to be changed. But then also in this, I write down the good things too. You know, like the progress I made toward goals, or the positive things that have happened. And that's usually the piece of the puzzle that we're all missing is the review piece. Hello, wave to you. And because we need to be able to celebrate ourselves and review this progress. Because we often focus on the negative stuff, you know, because negativity bias is real and it is huge and rampant. So we can easily see that one time we messed up and didn't do the thing we wanted to do, but not the other 10 times that we actually did something. And the good thing, we did the good things for ourselves, you know? So we have to also be kind of patting ourselves on the back, and kind of giving ourselves that recognition for what we have done positively, you know? And because that is really the key to motivation, to getting that encouragement to keep going, is like, oh, I did this hard thing. I can do hard things, and now I want to do more hard things, you know? Okay. So we have food, we have movement, we have breathing, we have tracking and review process. And this last one may surprise you, but it is a whole conglomerate of joy, of fun, of play, of presence. So these are ginormously important things for our bodies, for ourselves, for our nervous systems, for our connection with others, that especially today is kind of out the window. And like I could have said this in terms of like managing stress or regulating your nervous system, but that can feel complicated. That can feel out of reach, because a lot of times like you need a protocol, you need a certain way of doing this, you know, like that can really kind of get in our way, is like, oh, am I doing this right? Like that kind of question. But we know how to play, right? You know how to have fun. You know how to laugh. So incorporating that into your week, and ideally daily, is going to be so important, especially right now. I feel like the world is rough. It's kind of breaking news all the time. It's stressor after stressor. And I feel like kind of acknowledging and feeling that joy and feeling fun and presence and laughing is almost an act of resistance at this point, you know? And also like joy and laughter and that fun actually has scientific backing to add to your day, because it has a drastic impact on your health. It can improve stress levels, obviously, mental health, heart health, vascular health, core strength from laughing, you know, reduces blood pressure. Like I could go on and on and on and on about the actual physical benefits of feeling joy and laughter. But I won't. So if this feels out of reach and out of touch, like, oh, Lisa, like, how can I be joyful right now? You know, like, I'm sure you have felt that. Focus on the glimmers in your day. So you may not have heard of glimmers, but I'm sure you've heard of triggers, right? So triggers, those upsetting things, those things that make you go, and like those, like kind of scary, like remembering trauma, all those kind of things. That's a trigger. We all know that. But the glimmer is the opposite of that. So things that make you smile, things that make you happy, things that kind of renew your feelings about humanity, you know, like those moments. Focus on those throughout the day. Excuse me. Again, like I said before, it's so easy for us to see the negative and to focus on the negative and have the negative like blaring out at you. You have to start making it easy for your brain to see the positive too. And so I'm sure you've heard of like rewiring your brain, like all those kind of things. Like this is how you do that, is you notice something different and you focus on that, you know? So kind of noticing those glimmers throughout the day. So maybe that's a positive interaction with someone at the checkout line, you know, like it's so innocuous and so like little, but it's actually quite big. You know, so maybe it's like a smile and wave. Maybe you smile at everyone today. You know, like regardless of what you get back, maybe you kind of present that. You present that to others. And maybe you'll get a smile back. And maybe they will be like, oh, someone smiled at me. I'm going to smile at others. You know, it can be contagious this way. I'm sure you've heard of like the pay it forward. Like maybe you're paying for someone's coffee behind you. You know, like just try to incorporate or even notice those small moments of like, those happiness feelings, those like comforting, those good feelings in your day, because it's so easy obviously to focus on the negative, and that's not helpful for anybody. So that was kind of a quick overview of what I think are some of the biggest habits that we can be incorporating into our day, into our week. To recap, come on, I'm making it, I can do it. Food and what you eat. And again, this doesn't have to be involved, doesn't have to be crazy. Just even adding a few vegetables here and there throughout the week can be important. Movement in your day in any way that you find fun and joyful. Please don't like force yourself to do something that's not that fun, or like not that comfortable for you. Just movement however you want to move. Breathing exercises, that was the third one. And make sure you are kind of getting a full deep breath. And then focus on a longer exhale to try to see what that does to your body. And then tracking and review. We got to give ourselves the kudos and the pat on the back for the good things that we did do. And then joy, fun, presence, glimmers, all those positive things, and try to notice those more than the negative things. I know that's hard. And so please, again, do not make this an opportunity to beat yourself up if you are not doing any of these things. Do not come away with this of like, oh my God, I'm not doing any of those. I'm terrible. I'm the worst. I'm going to give up. That's not the goal here. That's not the point. The point is to give you a few small inroads to these so you can do them, because we can do hard things. And like, these are not that hard a lot of times. So I believe in you, and I know you can do it. So just try a few of these out this week. You know, like if these are totally brand new to you, then just try a few out. Try the breathing out right now. See if that helps, or see what it does to your body. See if you notice anything. Just kind of take a pulse and see what's going on. Maybe you add a salad to your dinner this week. Maybe you add the slab it to map it a few times this week in the morning, like I was talking about, and you see how that feels. It's really just kind of a lot of experiments, you know, to see what things help your body, what helps you to feel better physically, mentally, emotionally, and what things don't, you know? So if this breathing does not feel good, then try something else. You know, it doesn't mean anything bad about you. And again, if you want, I have the food guide, and I also have Slap It to Map It. So there's 2 wonderful free tools for you. So just DM me if you want some of those. And let me know if you like these lives, and I'll keep doing them. All right. So thank you all for hanging out with me. I will hang out for a second if there's any questions. Slovenia! How cool! I love it. I think the first one I had someone from Australia, and it was like tomorrow there, which was really cool. So I'm kind of curious, what time is it for you in Slovenia? But that's awesome. I obviously love everybody here. But I love my international people because it's just so fun. Let's miss international. But you're welcome. You're all over the world. How cool. All right. All right. Well, thank you all for hanging out with me today. And again, if you like these, if you find them helpful, let me know, and I will keep doing them. And let me know what you want to hear about too. If there's any other topics that I haven't talked about this month that would be interesting, let me know. Nurture. We're just wrapping up. 5:30 p.m. Very cool. Very cool. All right. I will see you all later.